never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
I was in the game on 4th and inches. What is going on, everybody? Seminole Nation, Florida State family, in the 863 tribe. It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the Gizzot Damn Truth. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. Hungover from the previous week of Florida State news and information and whatnot. And we're talking a little recruiting today. Of course, we're going to continue to talk about spring ball and expectations, and as we rear closer to, April 15th, the spring game, where we obviously will do a live watch along. We're going to talk, of course, about the spring and, of course, about recruiting. We've had some interesting developments on the trail. 2 commits over the past week. One for the 25 class, one for this upcoming class, which we'll dig into. And a certain very important prospect on campus for the last 2 days. I'll give you my thoughts on him and where I think that recruitment lies and what that could mean if Florida State could land that one. But, of course, before we get into any of that, we got to pay these bills. Hit my like button. Subscribe if you are new. Get in that comment section so you can make this roll call that's coming shortly. And then share the video. Let the entire college football world, let all of Florida State football fandom know that we are live and you are on the realest place on YouTube when it comes to this Florida State football talk. It just is what it is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No sugarcoating it. This is what it is. This is 863 Seminole TV. So, without further ado, let's hit a quick roll call. Let's get into some of these topics, man. Okay, there we go. Let's get into some of these topics. Let's see what y'all want to talk about. I always mispronounce your name, probably. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I'm going to say Sane 305, Tyler Head, member of the 863 Tribe, FSU Rose, Todd Pope, Matt J, DJ Ferg, Briley's in the building, Chad Kinsler, and Chris Robinson. And that's all we got in the chat so far. So looks like it's a slow evening. DJ Ferg, I think I said that one. Oh, yeah, I said DJ Ferg already. But that's okay. Hit the comment section as you come in. If you miss it, guess what? You miss it. Just watch it on the playback. Where do we start? Well, we start with recruiting, and let's get this one out the way because he is a year away. I don't go far ahead in this recruiting thing because recruiting changes by the second. 1 month, a guy loves you. The next month, he's somewhere else. At one day, it's my dream school. The next day, we're over here. So, quarterback out of Jacksonville. Just that quick, I forget his name. Isn't it Tramel Johnson or something like that? Let me pull him up. I should have already had him pulled up. So that's my mistake. But he is the quarterback for the 2025 class. I'll say this before I get into the weeds on this one, because I won't pretend like I know much about the young man because he's so far away. I really don't care to know much about it. But Florida State has made this a trend Florida State is continuing to make this somewhat of a trend. They 247 has really gone to shit. Excuse my language. I try to keep this one clean. My Saturday ones I could care less. But that website has really gone down, man. It's stuff doesn't load on this website. It's actually kind of pathetic. Somebody's not running that website good anymore. I will say this: Florida State, for now 2 years in a row, they are identifying their quarterback early. They are not wasting time. And they are getting their quarterback extremely early in the last two recruiting cycles. This current one, remember, we were on Luke when he was. It's actually crazy to watch Luke's progression. Luke was completely unrated. Comes out of nowhere. Now he's a damn near top 50 guy. I think he's in the top 60. So Tramel Jones comes right now unranked out of Mandarin, which is in Jacksonville, Florida. 6'1", 175. Again, he's unranked, but he's listed as a 3-star, but he's completely unranked. I'm looking at it's crazy that I got to keep going to On3's website because 247 continues to be a joke. Unranked. No national ranking, no position. Well, according to Rivals, he's the 25, but okay. So On3, no ranking. 247, no ranking. ESPN, no ranking. Rivals actually has him as the 25th best quarterback, but no ranking in the state of Florida, no national ranking. Not too worried about this one. This one's a long way away. So I'm not going to sweat over Tramel Jones. I like it. I'll echo it. The same thing I said about Luke. I had zero issues when they took Luke. Identify your quarterback early. If Florida State likes him, I trust that much. And I expect more offers for him to come in shortly, if not already. Let's see. He's already offered by the Gators, UCF, Maryland, Georgia Tech. So as you see, it's only a matter of time. Virginia Tech's offered him. Miami's offered him. Pittsburgh's offered him. All D1 schools, all Power 5 schools. Yes, UCF is a Power 5 school. They are in the Big 12 now. So all Power 5, all D1. His recruitment hasn't probably even started yet. I love it. I like getting on guys early. Did it with Luke, and Luke has completely turned into one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He just recently had an Elite 11 invite and some quarterback competition. I think he participated in over the weekend, and he was named like the best player in the competition. We all expect great things from Luke. And Tramel might be following that same path. So I think this one's a good one. I think this one's absolutely a good one. Okay, I see more people have entered the chat. Let me get a few more people. Chad Kinsler in the building. Chris Robinson, always in the building. Always checking in from Orlando, Florida. Universal, Disney World in the building. Excuse me. Throat got dry. Hold on. Shout out to my man Chris Robinson, as always. One of the big supporters of the show. Chris, I got to get you your own graphic, bro. Got to get you your own. But in the meantime, we'll give you 2.
Tallahassee, I'm with the Seminoles. I've been getting to this paper, focus on my goals. Trying to run this money up and pull up in a row. All this talking gangster, that shit getting old.
The money goes into my piggy bank.
Fonte B's in the building. Member of the tribe. No power, truth be told, all in the building. Hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button, please. If you have not, come on in here, hit my like. As I was saying, so that's one commit we've gotten. Let's get into the second commit that we got. And this one's an interesting one. Now, I'm not gonna I may or may not take it where some of y'all think I'm going to take it. This is what I'm going to say, though. First, I got to preference my comments and give out my disclaimer. This has zero to do with Mr. Jaden Pride. Shout out to Jaden Pride. He's a member of the tribe. Parrish. Sorry, I don't know why I said Pride. Jaden Parrish, member of the tribe of 24. Linebacker, Delray Beach, Florida. Shout out to him. Don't know if he's going to be a good or bad player. Probably is a up-and-coming player. So I really don't want to spend too much time on Jaden Parrish, the actual player. I mean, we can go over his offer sheet real quick. UConn, Kentucky, USF, Florida Atlantic. Auburn's the one good team there. And then Florida State. So Auburn actually sees something in him. So that's a little bit, like enthusiastic. But he's completely unranked. Looks like across the board here. Well, on 3, let's go to on 3, see what they say about him. So yeah, he's completely on 3 actually has him as the 96th linebacker in the country, no national ranking, and the 122nd player in the state of Florida. So take from that what you will. I'm not going to spend too much time on Jaden. I hope he's a good player. We're going to find out. We'll see. Can I ask a question, though? My question is, do we think Randy Shannon is the smartest guy in the country? Like, when it comes to these backers, man, when it comes to these linebackers, does anybody want to convince me that is Randy Shannon, does he just see something in these linebackers, the Jaden Parrishes of the world, the DeMarco Wards of the Dylan Brown Turners of the world? I mean, again, no offense, bro. We took a guy from Dallas, Texas, Dylan Brown Turner, nationally ranked 1845. DeMarco Ward, nationally ranked 1278. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to these young men. These young men may be or turn out to be great players. But again, what is it that I'm missing? Don't hit me with the whole, because we said the same thing. Listen, the same narrative that was spun about your boy, that's being spun about your boy this year, Mr. Parrish, was being spun about your boy last year, DeMarco Ward. Oh, he's way better than his ranking. He's going to shoot up in the rankings once people get more. No, he finished 1278 in the entire country. 1278. Yep, I'm just reading. 1278. 1,278th player in the country. What is it Randy Shannon seeing that I don't see? Or apparently any other linebacker coach in the country doesn't see? I just have that question, guys. I don't want to talk about the young men as if they're bad players. Again, they may be. Like, I look at DeMarco Ward's offer sheet. You got Duke, Memphis, UCF, Louisville, Wake, and Florida State. So Alabama didn't see nothing in him. His own team in his own state, Georgia, didn't see nothing. And again, this is about the players. I'm more so questioning what is the coach? What is the coach saying, y'all? What is the coach saying? I have a hard time figuring it out. I'm not going to lie to you. I am at a point where I'm okay with taking guys, man. I'm okay with looking for gems. I'm okay with scouting guys and maybe taking a guy that other people are sleeping on. But when every player starts to become that gem, Well, the gym loses its effect. This whole term of a gym starts to lose its luster. The gym's not shiny when every player is a gym. When every player is way better than their 1,000th ranking. Come on. Let's have a legit conversation about it. And again, this ain't about the player. I'm more so talking about the guy recruiting these players. Or am I just, I don't know. Am I just out of pocket, bro? Am I just out of pocket? Am I just jumping the gun here? But at what point don't we see a trend? Am I the only one who's starting to see a very underwhelming or concerning trend? You take out Blake Nicholson, which is a great get, by the way. Some people don't really credit Randy with that get, but that's neither here nor there. You take out Blake, now what do you got? I find it concerning. Again, gyms are awesome. Cam Irving, gym. He was a 2-star D tackle. You got him to play left tackle. The rest goes down in history. Xavier Rhodes can be considered a gym. He was a 3-star receiver, first-round pick at corner, but was an All-Pro at one point in the NFL, I believe. I know he's a Pro Bowler. I think he made an All-Pro too. Gyms are amazing. Gyms are great. To a degree, you could probably consider Lundy a gym. To a degree, he's outperformed probably where I thought he was. You know, and that's a credit to Lundy and reshaping his body and doing great things. But again, that term gym really starts to lose its luster when we're spinning the same narrative for every linebacker. Every linebacker we take, oh, he doesn't attend camps. That's why his ranking so bad. And he doesn't do this, but he's really okay. Y'all said the same thing about all these other guys too. Eventually, you just start the deaf ears. I don't really hear it no more. You know? So I don't want to knock the kid. I'm not knocking the kid. I hope he is a gem. I hope he turns out great. Good news, Florida State is said to take about 3 to 4 backers this cycle, which they should if you think about it. You got a chance. We know Deloach and Bethune are gone. Lundy, depending on his season, who knows? He might try his hand. I don't necessarily think so, but you never know. But we got a veteran linebacking group. Dick's probably going to hit the portal. Gant, senior. So, but no matter how good Gant is this year, you're not going to have him next year. I mean, next year, you're really going to rely on Omar Graham, Blake Nicholson, DeMarco. Like, that's what you're relying on. Probably a transfer portal guy, I would have to guess. So you want to take 3 to 4 backers this cycle. Absolutely. Two of those guys, I'm just going to say it here. 2 of those guys probably need to compete for starting time. You need to sign 2 guys that probably need to compete to play right away. If you don't do that, then you got to address it in the portal. Here's the caveat to that. Tatum Bethune has been great for us, but that's one position that we really haven't targeted in the portal like that. Okay? Bethune kind of falls in our lap because Randy recruited him at UCF. It just kind of fell that way. Awesome. We don't really have a lot of smoke with portal linebackers, number one. Number two, can you name good portal backers good backers that have came out the portal? I can only name one, and that was the guy that went from Tennessee to Alabama, the Hawaiian guy, or Samoan. He's Hawaiian or Samoan, like Toto, whatever his name was. That's the only one I can think of. Linebacker, we talk about the portal, and y'all know I'm all for the portal. I don't know if linebackers, that one position that I don't know if I am, because linebackers such a weird position. We don't look at it in the same light as a D tackle or edge rusher or an offensive lineman, but man, linebackers can really make or break your defense. We don't give them the same love, but we probably should. I can't recall seeing any decent ones in the portal around, and I just would like to develop that position my own. But yeah, that's kind of my soapbox, man, on the whole linebacker recruiting, not the player. shout out to the player. I'm glad he got a committable offer. I hope he comes in here and shuts me up and proves everybody wrong that's doubting him. Let me say that I'm not doubting him, but I'm starting to doubt the recruiting of this position. If I got to sell every player as a gem, well, damn. Let me get to the comments on that, see what y'all think about what we just discussed. I know I went on for a while and didn't really look at any comments, but Chance says hit that like button. KJ Bolden's coming up next. Ferg, don't worry, we're going to talk about that. Lewis says linebacker recruiting is underwhelming. Tyler says, Randy, bro, I'm fine with taking a couple diamonds in the rough, but damn, that's all that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with taking the underrated guy too every now and then that you gotta, mold and. But again, it just starts to lose that whole term diamond in the rough starts to lose its meaning when that's all you recruit or diamonds in the rough. DJ Ferg says Parrish will be another Buster Davis. Let's get it. Says I'm not mad at the get. I'm confused a little. Why now when you can get him later? Probably can get him later. Maybe he is that good. Maybe he's just that good. We'll see. You're right. Every player can't be a diamond in the rough. Are we in on any blue chip guys? So I know we're in. I don't know if you remember, Tyler, a couple weeks ago, we listened to the interview of one of the guys. I think he's a 4-star linebacker that I think we're in on. And I think we might be in on a couple more. A piece did come out at Florida State and Randy Shannon. They've already offered an insane amount of scholarships to backers. So they're throwing scholarships out there trying to get some guys, it seems like. I'm sure some of those are blue chip guys. But when you say, are we really in, that's where I have okay, we're throwing scholarships, we're recruiting guys, but are we in the running for any of these guys? I think that's probably what you're really asking, and I don't have an answer for that. Damian says, what's up, Polk? Let's just get a hot board ready. Shannon don't land some 4-stars at that position. He's gone. Get that Woodson special. Interesting point from Damian. I'll also say this, y'all. Why is I'm gonna say why I think this. To me, this has to be deliberate, man. Because how is a school that linebackers used to fall off the trees here? Do I have to go down the list of backers? How does a school that has the list of Ernie Sims, Sam Cowart, Marvin Jones, Derek Brooks, Lawrence Timmons, I think I said Nigel Bradham already? Hell, I don't know. Buster Davis, Telvin Smith, Kendall Pope. How do I go down a list of these names and we can't get nobody wants to, no linebackers want to come to Florida State? Which seems to be the case. I don't know. Dress for success. Act like you belong there. FSU recruits need to recruit where they want to be. I know Norvell wants rings, so I can't imagine it's going to be. I'm actually with you on that, Jonathan. Again, and I'm okay with scouting and finding some underrated guys, but you got to couple that. You have to offset that even if the 4-star doesn't pan out, you still got to offset your recruiting. Get some 4-star caliber athletes. Not all 4 and 5 stars pan out. We know that, but you got to have an even balance. So the 4-star that don't pan out, but the gym does. But if everything's a gym, well, we've already been there. We've already seen how the Jordan Eubanks was another gym in this same mold didn't pan out. The only thing is, well, Randy didn't recruit Eubanks, so at least there's that. That was a Chris Marv special. So, I mean, DeMarco Ward's an early enrollee. I don't expect anything from this year, but if he can play some role of special teams or something, I don't know. DeMarco Ward might set the tone for the rest of these gym linebackers, being that he's the one early enrollee and he's going to get an opportunity. What's going on, Marco, the resident Louisville fan? Says Jeff Brom is coming to take over the ACC. You've been warned. I see it's in tons of high-profile recruitment. I see it's in tons of, except for linebacker. Briley. So I did see that comment, and Briley, I actually thought that was a well put together. I'm gonna finish reading this, but I actually think that was a well put together assessment of him. Again, I am not talking about the player being good or bad. Okay, I will look at his huddle myself later on and just see what I see. I actually haven't looked at it yet. That's why I'm not talking about whether he's a good player or not. I am talking about what seems to be a deliberate tactic by Randy Shannon in this linebacker recruiting. It's either deliberately he's doing this or wow, this is concerning. Either way is concerning, but wow. But Briley says, I broke down my thoughts in a community post on Parrish. I think Shannon has been a little handcuffed by the record and narrative, and I think Shannon likes a solid floor guy in every class. I mean, we had 2 solid floor guys in the last class, so I guess we'll see what happens, though. Randy gonna sink our linebacking room. I'm fine if Parrish is the floor guy again. Not a knock on Parrish. But again, we're taking 3 or 4 backers this year. If we got 3 Parrishes and 1 Blake Nicholson again, I'm going to say that's piss poor linebacker recruiting. I'm just going to keep it a G with you. There, y'all leave Marco alone, man. Marco over here. He just, he doing what the Miami fans do, but Marco's a good sport, so y'all have fun with Marco. Don't be too mean to Marco. And plus, the very similar Miami, Louisville got the native son coming home to save the program, so they should be excited. I have no idea what Tatum Bethune's rank, to be honest with you. We didn't recruit Tatum Bethune. And even to the point that I think you're trying to make, which is always the point that people try to make, is that stars don't matter. It took Tatum Bethune a redshirt year, 2 years at USF to develop and get to where he is now. You feel me? Which is fine. But that's UCF. They're not Florida State. What part of the offense, defense, if any exists, do you think we might struggle? Don't worry, we'll get into that. Let's stick to the topic here for a second. Tyler, Tatum Bethune needed multiple years. Me and Tyler somehow are like connected. I don't know how we do it, but he just echoed what I just said. He needed multiple years at UCF to get where he is now, which is, again, it's fine. It's fine. I've made this case multiple times, though, at Florida State, because we continue to see it. It's okay to take these projects, but you got to put something over it, because what's going to happen if DeMarco Ward or that other dude from Texas or this kid Parrish, they got a year or two, and in a year or two, they're either on the field or they should be hitting the portal. Right? That's happened to Bethune, right? Gets a couple years, realize he's outperformed you at UCF to some degree. I feel like he's developed over that level, comes to Florida State. Now he's like ACC caliber linebacker. Absolutely. Yeah, Moody, even though Moody was recruited as a safety, though. But Moody was a hitter for real. What's up, Champ 99? I'm with you, Damien. That's my point. I just went down the names of linebackers, and you would think we could. Yeah, I know, Champ. That is what they say. That is the narrative. He hasn't been in. They said the same thing about DeMarco Ward, and DeMarco Ward never once rised in the rankings after everybody got eyes on him, even after So it is what it is. If you think that the reason why he's not rated is because he hasn't been to any camps, that's fine. That's what we say about every kid that's low rated. Oh, he's not going to any camp, so that's why it's 2023. It's not 1999 anymore. I don't care what camp you go to. Everybody's got a huddle. Everybody's got a camera phone. There's plenty of optics on these players. It's not like this guy plays in Montana. Okay, he's in South Florida. Where is he from? I think he's from South Florida. Okay, everybody goes to South Florida to find talent. I wish he was too, DJ Ferg. Arnie, what's going on with you? POLK, I was arguing with an idiot Kane friend about which game is more important to win, LSU or Clemson. Y'all already know my thoughts on that. Arnie thinks it's LSU. No, I think it's Clemson. I've been on the Clemson bandwagon from the jump. Clemson, at some point, you got to go over the Clemson hump. This should be the year to get over that hump. LSU, I think you can lose, but if you beat Clemson twice, you got it. You know what I'm saying? It all starts with Clemson, in my opinion. That's what we're on 6-7 years straight with that. When are you going to beat them? You just beat LSU. If anything, LSU is going to be a dope game. It's going to be amazing atmosphere. It's going to be incredible to watch. It should be an all-out war. But the importance, I've always said Clemson. No, he might be. You might have just be joining here, William. I haven't said anything bad about the linebacker. This is more of an indictment on Randy, not the linebacker. But let's move on. We'll see what happens with this. Bradley, I'll read this last one. We also got to be a little realistic. Recruiting is picking up, and it's not going to pick up at the same pace at every position. We only play 2 backers, which is going to limit. The only reason I don't disagree with your first part. This last part where you say we only played 2 linebackers, that is the going rate in college football. Most teams are playing 5 DBs now, whether it's 3-3 or 4-2. Most teams are only putting I can't think of too many teams that consistently are putting the game's too spread out to have 3 linebackers on the field anymore. Most teams are going with a weak side in the middle and a mic. Most teams, and they got some type of hybrid safety that can either play run or pass. Most teams are playing two true backers. Most teams, even the prototypical 3-4 is what? 2 true backers and 2 edge guys who are more of a combo DN/outside line rush backers. So most teams are recruiting 2 backers. I don't. That last part I don't agree with. That first part though, I don't disagree with. Every position is not going to have the same. What did you say? Recruit at the same pace as maybe some of these other positions. So I don't disagree with that first part. Let's move on to KJ. So KJ just spent the last 2 days on FSU's campus, I believe. I listened to an interview. He said some good stuff. Very important recruitment. I don't know. Here's the thing about KJ for me. He says all the right things, but I've heard this story. I've heard it's every class we got a player that goes, Florida State was my dream school. And usually when they say that, I go, okay, he's not coming here. That's how those recruitments have played out in recent years. Usually when I hear, I grew up a fan of Florida State. That was my dream school. You know what I say? Cool. He ain't coming here. Because that's usually how it plays out. The good news for Florida State with this one, you got him on here for 2 days. I don't think this recruitment is going to be decided anytime soon. I could see this one going all the way till the early signing period or beyond. He only has one official visit, and that is to Ohio State. So I think you got to count Ohio State as the lead in his recruitment as of right now. I believe he has a cousin or something that coaches in at Ohio State. So obviously Ohio State is in the lead. He's already got the official. But this is an important one for Florida State because if you can win it, you send a message, in my opinion, because this is one for the big dogs. All the big dogs are in this recruitment. Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, Auburn. I think he's going to Alabama and Auburn in his next couple visits, or Bama and Auburn, I think in that order, not too sure. This is a good one. I don't know where Florida State realistically lies. Again, I know he says all the right things in his interview, but they all, I've been pretty consistent on post-visit interviews. To a degree, I really feel they're pointless because, of course, kids say all the right things. You'd be shocked, and you'll never hear it. But imagine a kid getting done with a visit, and War Chant or 247 goes, "How'd the visit go?" "It sucked. This school is garbage," right? Never going to happen. And I don't think a kid is ever going to feel that way anyway. I think our staff does a good job while kids are on campus. But of course, a kid's going to say all the right things after a visit. The experience was just brand new to them. Everything's still kind of in their mind. They're still processing things of what they seen, what they were told. So, yeah. He's going to say the right things. He said some things that were interesting, and I'm trying to remember them. I probably should have wrote them down. But, I like to spitball these. I don't like to put down too many notes. I like to just come off the top of the head. He said some interesting things, if I can remember, he was dropping "we" a lot. Now, he was trying to say that he grew up a fan. So him dropping "we" could either be deliberate on his part, and he's playing the game. Kudos to him. Or it could just be a natural instinct of him being a fan and saying "we." So his fandom, which may be genuine, again, doesn't mean anything, but maybe genuine, maybe that plays a part. Again, with some interesting things to take note of. No other team has an official visit. He hasn't decided. Ohio State should be looked at as the lead, but there's room for other schools to get in. And him not having any other officials, and he wasn't really willing to tip his hand. Again, I don't think this recruitment is like something that's gonna. I don't think you're gonna get anything in the summer from him. I don't think this is a guy that's announcing in the summer. I don't know if he has an announcement date set, and I don't think you're gonna get a guy that's gonna announce like early season fall. I think this one might go to the end, and he's one of the most sought after recruits in the country, and well deserved there. I'm glad to see Florida State in it. If you compare Bolden and Leicester, watch out. Talk about dynamite in that secondary, and talk about just dynamite recruiting. That'll change the narrative. But this one's not going to be easy. I don't want Florida State fans to. He does have picks in the white unis, and the white unis usually mean. I hear you there. And Timmy said it, which is interesting. He says, "Watch out for Colorado. Deion always seems to get in on these corners or these DB. Well, it's been corners the last 2 years. I don't know if Deion can pull a safety, but it will be interesting to see how his recruitment ends up developing here. But I'm glad Florida State putting the best foot forward. Getting him on campus for 2 days is a big deal. He wouldn't confirm an official visit to Florida State, and he said he may come back for a game if he doesn't do an official. I don't know. I don't necessarily like that, but he didn't confirm an official for any other school outside of Ohio State. So be excited for him. Again, and this is a tough one. They're going to be in the battle with the big dogs on the trail. Have you not watched what Ohio State has been doing this offseason in recruiting? Are they going to leave any wide receivers for anybody else in the country to snatch up? Ohio State is absolutely demolishing wide receiver recruiting right now. It is ridiculous. I get they have been putting guys in the league, but guess what? They ain't but one football to go around, guys. But whatever they're selling up there in Columbus, these wide receivers are buying it. And so you're in the mix with those caliber of schools where they are, they recruit at that level. Georgia has two back-to-back natties that they can throw in any recruit's face. Bama's Bama. Nick's got a case of rings he can throw in any recruit's face. So Florida State and Mike Norvell, they're gonna have to come with some outside of the box stuff here. It's not impossible. But anytime I hear, man, it's my dream school, I go, oh God, the curse. That's the kiss of death, as far as I'm concerned. It was Brandon Ennis's dream school, and it was who's that kid from Tallahassee that went to Bama, the safety? It was his dream school, and it's just always somebody's dream school, and they never end up coming here. Shout out to William with the $5. Appreciate the donation, my man. He says exactly. Dream school means no commit. That's been the trend. Let's hope we break that trend, but appreciate you.
Yeah, more money. Yeah, more money.
Tell him again, Marco. See, I was giving the Louisville man a hard time, and he coming out here showing love, man. Thank you, Marco. What's up, Montre? That's what Tyler said. You got to pick in the white unis. It's a lot. Briley, do we think visit picks in the all white still have unspoken meaning, or did they get too popular after we warm in game and the wink and nod? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, bro. We will see. DJ Ferg says, hit the like button. Bro, I've already talked about Dustin Hill, bro. If he shows up, we'll have a whole show on Mr. Hill. Until then, I don't care. Maybe it's just me, but recruiting is a complete afterthought for me right now. Not getting signed about anybody and not getting good. That's a good point. I mean, you got a big season to look forward to, though. So I feel you. Montre says, please don't tell us he said dream school. And that's what he said. Okay, his exact words were not dream school. It was he grew up maybe his exact words were dream school, but I know he said he grew up a fan of this school, that he loved, the stuff we hear every year. Polk, would you rather have KJ or Lester? Interesting. I think you would always take the true corner over the safety. I think that is football 101. You give me a 5-star safety versus a 5, that corner has an opportunity to completely wipe out one side of the field if he's good enough. Safety can do a lot of things too, a legit one, but I just think corner is a little more valuable. Ferg says Lester. Fonte says Lester. So yeah, I would go with Lester as well, just off of the position and what that position does. I guess here's the question. And this might not be a fair comparison because my man Derwin suffered injuries at Florida State. Did we ever really get a fully healthy Derwin for an entire year? I would say like freshman year and that's it or something like that. Derwin didn't stay healthy. But just look at the impact on games. Like, was Jalen more impactful or was Derwin more impactful? Like, who would you pick? Would you pick Jalen or Derwin or what? So that's the recruiting talk. Again, we talked about linebackers. We talked about the quarterback for the class of 25, and we're going to finish off with KJ. Now we'll get into the portion that y'all want to ask your spring questions. Let's do it. It's spring ball time. And from what I'm hearing, man, practice continues to go extremely well. Another scrimmage in the books. We are closing in on what I think is a highly anticipated spring game. I really hope the ACC network does not screw us this year and plays lacrosse for 30 minutes into our spring game. If they're smart and they understand that the only reason people even have the ACC network is to watch the football games, not the lacrosse games. I don't even know why that even needs to be explained, but apparently it does. That was so retarded last year. I can't say that no more, can I? I think that's like politically incorrect. I can't say that R word no more. I'm sorry. That offended anybody. But yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb. But what do you got? What are we talking about here? Other than Jordan Travis is the man. The running backs continue. It's like every week, man. A new running back's name is getting. I think C.J. Campbell's the one that got a lot of love for this past scrimmage. So every week, a new running back is getting some love, getting some attention. Trying to think of who else stood out. Tron continues to get a lot of love. Man, there's another guy. Who else got that interview that I can't remember? It was CJ and I don't freaking remember. It'll come to me. Anyway, Matt J says that and watching Aries just strike out while games were on. Yeah, last year that Turner. It was Byron Turner. That's who it was, Montre. Byron Turner. Heard some interesting things from him. Again, y'all know what I said about Byron. It's a make or break off season for him. He's either going to get it done or get it not, or not get it done. And if he doesn't get it done, he could be one of those guys we've been talking about. What's up, Corey? He could be one of those guys we talking about in that portal. So, yeah, Byron Turner is a big one. Good to see him get some camera time. So it tells me he must be playing fairly well. And I said it, man. And maybe Byron Turner is the reason why D-Mac isn't that big of a deal. Speaking of D-Mac, I think he visited South Carolina today, which is extremely interesting. We could be trading Gilbert Edmond for D-Mac. So that's interesting. There's an interesting development going on. Yeah, man. Speaking of Keen, I don't know if y'all saw this. And this is going to tie into another part. Adam Fuller's not happy with the safety play. Adam Fuller, I don't know if you listened to his interview, I think it was this past weekend. He is not happy with his safeties. And then I go and see a clip of Duke versus Keem, and I go, well, no wonder he's not happy with the safeties. I don't know how that transition for Duke is going, and I know that's just one drill, and you can't take everything just from one drill. But in that one drill, Duke he's just playing everything wrong in this. He's flat-footed. I don't know. I don't know how that transition's going for him. I never liked the move to begin with. I know some people do, some people don't. I was one of the ones that did not like Amarion Cooper going to safety. I just don't know if it fits what he was good at as a freshman. It just didn't look good, bro. It just didn't look good, and Fuller's not happy with the safeties. I don't think that's a coincidence. I definitely think come portal time after the spring, safety is going to be a major emphasis. They are going to try to take a safety or two because they're going to need it. Safety might be the position that we are concerned with going into this season. And maybe not the starters. You got Dent and Shaheem, but even Shaheem has to prove that Shaheem played well as a rotation guy. Can Shaheem play all the snaps required to be a starter and play them effectively? We're there. We don't know. And from Adam Fuller, again, he's not so happy. He's not so happy. So, yeah. But good job on Keem, the freshman, doing what he's doing, but not a good job from my boy, Marion Duke Cooper. Briley says, Duffy seems to be hard charging Tate, and Glenn is better in his freshman year than Duffy. I would agree with that comment right there. If I had a highlighter, I'd highlight that. Glenn is better in his freshman year than Duffy. He does seem to be, I think he's more physically gifted, which is funny. I think Brock Glenn might be more physically gifted than Duffy. How he processes information, we won't know that until maybe we see a little bit of live bullets, so to speak, or maybe in the spring or something. But I think as a talent, Glenn might be further along than Duffy. I don't disagree. Got to be pleased, and I've been pleased. I've told y'all we got a healthy quarterback room, so yeah, I'm with you. I got to be pleased with that. You hear about spring games being played versus other schools. We've talked about it. I know Florida State would like. When I say Florida State, I mean the fans or some of the fans. Maybe some of the fans don't. Me personally, I would love for Florida State to do to pair their spring with FAMU spring. I would personally love it. I don't know why they don't do it or why that's never been discussed. Or I just think it benefits both programs. What's up, Maurice? DJ says, what is the easiest position for a true freshman to come in and contribute besides special teams? The easiest position. So if they're physically gifted enough, honestly, I think DN could be if you get Jadeveon Clowney, true freshman, he can come in and play for any school in the country. But they got to be that caliber of athlete, because if I got Keldrick Falk, for instance, he would have played. No doubt in my mind, at 6'5", 250, Keldrick Falk, true freshman, he plays. Because you don't need him to be a complete player as a freshman. Go watch Pat Payton last year. And I know he wasn't a true freshman. And he needed that year to get his body in the right order. But even last year, they didn't ask Pat to do a lot. What did they ask Pat to do? Pin your ears, man, and go rush the quarterback. As a true freshman, you can simply tell an edge rusher, pin your ears back, go rush. Every other position has some little nuances to it. On obvious pass plays, man, pin your ears back and go run. You feel me? Not take you out the game on a run play or whatever the case, but I would say, honestly, I think edge rusher. I think edge rusher might be the easiest position for a true freshman to come in and play, but he has to be of a certain caliber, though. But I think that's for any freshman. You got to be of a certain caliber. I'm trying to think of some other positions, but ultimately, I honestly think defensive end. I think backer has a learning curve to it. I think offensive line, obviously, your body you got to be a man amongst boys in that offensive line. You have to be able to deal with grown men. Most high schoolers are not ready. Wide receivers, depending on the system, but you still got to know the playbook and the nuances of running routes and how to get separation. And in college, just your speed alone don't get you separation, right? You got to know other things. Running back, you can be effective in spurts, but if you can't pass pro, you can't probably get that much playing time as a freshman back. I mean, look at Dalvin Cook. He didn't really come on until later on in the year, his freshman year. And we know the quarterback. Yeah, I think DN. I don't know if anybody agrees or disagrees with that, but I think DN. Lost. Cooper looked lost. Montre says, Lord. Loss is the word for sure. Let's get it. Says, I wish they stopped putting the camera on Keem, bro. Got no wiggle. We need a safety in the portal. Duffy, Rodemaker, and Glenn need to get the majority of the snaps in the spring game because we know, and I don't disagree with you either, Panama. I think JT gets – I'm interested to see how they structure the spring game. I would say JT definitely plays the first half because people – you want to sell tickets too. We got to remember, we want to sell tickets to the spring game too. People going to want to watch Jordan Travis do Jordan Travis stuff. But after that, I agree. Let Duffy, Rodemaker, and Glenn do the rest. Not hearing Travis J's name, the dream may be dying. Another instance, though, of why? Because, man, clicks. Better be able to play a third quarter or a half. Who we talking about, Corey? Who we talking about there? They want Brown to be consistent. Conrad Hussey will come in the fall and challenge time. I mean, you are getting Conrad and Edwin Joseph, who I think is going to be corner, but you are getting two DBs to come in. I think Rawls, too, because I don't think Jabril Rawls was an early enrollee. I think you're getting Jabril Rawls also to come in the fall. So you got three DBs that's coming in the fall. So they're going to have an opportunity to also get some playing time. Champs thinks running back's the easiest. Let's get it. Thinks running back's the easiest. Kicker is the easiest. Last time FSU and FAMU did anything together, people were being body slammed on tables like the Dudley boys. There we go. Hussey and Joseph are wild cards. Can't really rely on it, but it would be great if one of them was a rotational piece by season's end. Still need a starter to emerge or arrive from the portal, I think. I love what I hear about the scrimmage regarding JT. Basically, he's ready to go, right? Yeah, but we know that, right? I think that nobody's doubting him anymore. From a game perspective, there's really nothing JT has to work on. He is what he is at this point. His decision making. Let's talk about JT right here and I'll highlight Tyler's comment because I just read it. Let me talk about JT for a quick second here, and what's gonna take. Everybody's talking Heisman there, and I'm gonna tell you what he's gonna need to do to win the Heisman. That NC State game. If JT wants to win the Heisman, you don't lose NC State, not because you don't make the interception at the end, but because you know your receivers have dropped pass. I'll take all that out. You don't lose the NC State game because you do what you did in the Florida game and the NC State game. If JT wants to be the Heisman winner, we think he can be, and take his game to the next level and lead this team to places that we haven't been in a while, then at every opportunity next year and this year coming up, when that Florida game emerges, that's what you do. You refuse to lose it. You refuse to lose. JT has to, his role now is to elevate everybody around him. And when push comes to shove, when it's time and the lights are the brightest and it's the fourth quarter and we need a drive and receivers been dropping passes all day, you know what you do? You tuck that thing and you Lamar Jack. Like, that's what's going to get him the Heisman, and that's what's going to win Florida State games that maybe we shouldn't win or are in a tough competition for. So that's what I'll say about JT. All the other stuff, man, we know what he is. But I want to know, is that Florida game an anomaly, or is that the new JT I'm getting from here on out? Because what he did against Florida was outstanding. It was amazing. One of the great performances. But he should have did that against NC State. Hell, he should have did that against Clemson and Wake Forest. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Let's see here. Marco says linebacker is too complex for a true freshman to be a first stringer. Briley thinks that DB is the easiest, or wide receiver after that. Just my opinion. Corey Hall thinks safeties. I think Hussey is going to be special. I hope so. I think we all have high hopes for a lot of these guys. Travis J had takeaway yesterday. I think he did get a mission takeaway. I think he did. I know AZ got one. You know, why everybody's worried about the safeties, I mean, you got to just be so happy with AZ's continued progression here. You know, that's the guy that if he takes the step, you're talking about shutting one side of the field down maybe, you know. Is it me or does JD look bigger? I think his legs have gotten bigger. Pause. But that's just what I've noticed. Briley says, starter prayers for good health already. Starter prayers for good health already. I don't know what you're trying to say. Somebody got hurt? Absolutely looks bigger. You Lamar Jackson. Montre, I missed that. Still like to hear more positives, but I'm glad he got one. Yeah, AZ's doing good stuff. So, overall, man, the spring is shaping up to be fairly good. I hope Blake comes in and challenges Lundy. Probably won't. Again, linebacker. And then you're coming in late. I just don't. I hope he can. But I just don't know. And DJ says, this thing don't like that. Okay, there we go. DJ says, I remember in 21 when Dent dropped like 4 INTs. He has to turn it on this year. Yeah, I think at some point we also got to accept that Dent is who he is. That doesn't mean he's a bad player, but I don't know if he's ever going to take that step. Again, the safety room is if the safety room is conserved for the D coordinator to the point where he called him out in his presser, that should tell you something. That should tell you a little bit of something. So guys are not performing to the level that is expected. I mean, losing Jamie's a big deal. But you thought maybe you had prepared Shaheem for the moment. Maybe you have, and it is. They're going through the dog days of spring right now. It could be simply the fact that but this is where you got to grind and get through it, right? So, but you thought maybe Shaheem would be up for the task. You thought getting Dent back is just surefire, lock that up. Dent's also recovering from that broken foot he had in the bowl game, so we can take that into a little bit of an account. And we might be fine, but the D coordinator is concerned, so that should raise a little concern. Panama says, I want to see Travis get his chemistry down with Winston and Jaheim out the spring game. I'm sure they're working on it. Absolutely, I'm sure they're working on it. Lundy looks like a really good 2. I mean, he's wearing number 10, so he better play good this year. But I thought he played fairly well last year. His role got diminished, as I kind of spoke to when they got Bethune. I always felt like you diminish Lundy's role, he can excel. I remember at the beginning of last year, mock drafts had said Dent going like and those mocks were all wrong because they had Dent going like super early. They had Maurice, and I love Mo, but they had Maurice getting like drafted in like the second round or something ridiculous like that. I mean, come on, bro. So those mock drafts were all over the place. My favorite commit right now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't dived into the 24 class. I haven't dived into the 24 class like that. I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm being honest, my favorite commit is just Luke, because just watching his rise has been so phenomenal to watch. That's probably my favorite guy just because just watching him go from, a guy nobody thought anything of to, the guy's he's ranked on 3, he's 59, he's top 60. On 247, he's 66. ESPN, who cares what ESPN says? They don't even have him ranked. And then Rivals doesn't have him ranked either. Who cares about Rivals? So the other two have him as the top, one of the better players in the country. And all of them have, one thinks he's a top 5 quarterback in the country. 247 thinks he's a top 10 quarterback in the country. So Panama, that would be great. But a lot of that chemistry will probably come from player run sessions over summer. Maybe Pittman will document some of it for us. I'm sure he will, because I know Pittman. I think Shaheem has shown himself to be a gamer. I think Shaheem will be fine. Snapping appears to be a problem for guys not named Mo. And y'all know what we've been talking about with Mo. Every time they bring someone in there, what happens? Mo ups his game. So not shocked. Not shocked by the least of Maurice Smith. If you ask me to pick a starting 5 right now, I'd go Mo, Roddick. They said Bless Harris had a good scrimmage, but I'm still pretty firm that I think all 3 guys that we got out of portal play. I think they will try Byers at right tackle. And I know they want to prefer to use him inside, but he did play tackle at UTEP. They list him at 6'4", but I look at him, he does have long arms. I think he could probably play tackle. I think it'd be Mo, Roddick, Jones, Byers, and obviously Big Rob, Big Scott over there. Obviously, he's not going anywhere. I recently saw the ACC coaching rankings, and yeah, I saw those too. I didn't like a lot of those rankings, to be honest with you. Obviously Dabo's number one, and I like Clawson as a coach. I thought it was kind of disrespectful that the Pitt coach wasn't like in the top 5. Probably, I mean, the Pitt coach is the only other person on the entire list with the ACC championship. I mean, you win the conference. I don't know how you're not considered one of the better coaches in that conference. I think Clawson's an amazing coach. Don't get me wrong. I don't know how, if you're Elko, you demolish Miami, but people say Mario's a better coach than you. Yeah, that's a joke. So there's a lot of, I didn't like a lot of those rankings, if I'm being honest with you. Where was Norvell ranked? Wasn't Norvell ranked 3? I think that's a little high for Mike, if I'm being honest. Like, because in my opinion, you got to give credit to the Pitt coach who's won the conference, and you got to give credit to Clawson, who's beaten Norvell, 2-3 straight years? And obviously Dabo. So at a minimum, Mike Norvell is number 4. And then you got to say, well, what about NC State? Is Dave better than Mike? I don't necessarily think so, but there's a lot of questions that you could have on that list. I saw that too. I think Pitt head coach, Wake Forest head coach, UNC head coach should be above him. And that's another thing. You speak of Mac Brown. How does Mac Brown keep beating Miami, but you got Mario ranked ahead of Mac Brown? Explain that to me. Of course, EJ does. I really think all these rankings purposely put some BS in there to get engagement. Agreed. And you pay attention to the people who continue to want to argue the portal versus recruiting talk. The people that are arguing for recruiting and saying the portal isn't this and isn't that, they have some vested interest in, they either cover recruiting for a living, they have some vested interest in recruiting, which is why they continue to boost these rankings. And like you say, some of these rankings are purposely put in there to get clicks and get people to engage with the site. So they can have these conversations over why this guy is ranked here and why this guy isn't ranked here. And I know you're probably even talking about the coaching rankings. And again, I don't disagree with you there. Like even the coaching rankings, like, yeah, how does Mario go 5-7 year one? And damn near every loss is a 45 burgers on Mario every game. Duke 45 burger, Florida State 45, Pitt 45, Middle Tennessee 45. But you're telling me Mario's the 4th best coach in the ACC. Okay. Make it make sense. I agree, Rose. Oh, a big game boomer. He probably is the worst of it. Absolutely. Absolutely right. He's probably the worst. He's probably the worst for it. Drew Rosenhaus was on Pat McAfee show lobbying to be Lamar Jackson's agent. I hope Lamar Jackson stays independent. And then Colt 45. Man, Lamar Jackson needs an agent. And so, I mean, what are we? I almost feel like we could wrap the spring up now. Like, I don't even know. What do we need to see? What at this point, what are we? I don't like what at this point. I'm just worried that we are tempting fate at this point. At this point, I'm worried that somebody has a Kevin Durant type injury and they just are running to the practice field and slip and break their back or something, something retarded. Like, dang, I can't say that word. Something bad like that happens. I just like, I'm almost at the point where it's like this isn't years past where you wanted all the spring practices you could get because you just needed guys to get on the field and get as much practice time and develop and get better. Now it's like, Jordan Travis don't even need to suit. Does he need to even suit up anymore? Do we need to risk Trey Benson suiting up anymore? Like at this, you're at the point right now that you are just play all the young guys. Trey Benson, bro, go run some drills over there, non-contact, Johnny, go over there with Trey. Hey, Fabo, go over there with those guys. Verse, sit down and don't move. Pat, what are you doing? Go eat a couple burgers. Let's get you a little bigger, but you good. Like, you are legitimately at that point where I don't need to see any major contributor doing anything anymore this spring. Nothing. Go sit down. I'll play these young boys. Omar Graham, get out here. We got some work to do. Julian Armella, get out here. We got some work to do. Hakeem, Vontavious, get out here. We got those guys. Absolutely. We got work to do. But my old guys, go sit in an ice bath and listen to some music, something. Go play Call of Duty. I don't know. Go do something. I don't need you on this field. That's how I feel, man. That is how I feel. I don't know if you guys feel the same. That's how I feel. Yeah, man. And by the way, y'all already know I'm just light-skinned dude on YouTube, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. Briley goes, I don't need to see anything. I bought all the Kool-Aid. I'm just mixing it up to a 10,000-gallon pool. I trust the process. They just need to work the plan. Feels great. I want to see the 5-2-4 they was talking about. D-line will be sick. Spring game, I say play Tate versus Duffy. Hey, that's what we talked about earlier, and I don't disagree with you. If we're going to do it big. No backers. Just linemen and DBs. Oh, man. Who are the players you are watching the closest in the spring? For me, it's Byron Turner, Jaheim Bell, and the running backs and QB backups. Decent question here. For me, so I'm always going to watch my O linemen. I'm always going to watch those guys. And I'm going to watch those D linemen too. I want to watch those battles. I want to see those young ones. I like to sit back and watch those guys. A specific player. I'm going to be interested to see. Hopefully the weather's good. I want to see AZ against Johnny. I want to see AZ against Winston. I want to see AZ. And I wouldn't mind seeing Fentrell, but I'm not too worried about. I want to see AZ matched up against the top receivers. I would like to see that. I think that can be fun to watch. To see AZ get specifically matched up with those guys. And then I'm interested to see, does Keziah Holmes have that Trey Benson effect? Remember, we all didn't know what Trey Benson was. Some of us didn't like to take. Some of us, you guys were cool with it. Shout out to the ones who were the smartest guys in the room and knew it was a great take. Kudos to you. You're great. But as soon as Trey Benson got that first carry, everybody jaw dropped and said, okay, they was right. I'm interested to see, does Keziah Holmes have that effect? Does any player have that effect for that matter? As soon as they touch the ball, people just go, oh, okay. So I don't really pay attention to the older guys, but the young guys always intrigue me because I want to see the growth. I want to see, are they getting better? I want to see, is all the hype. Like, I want to see, is Rodney Hill hype real? I want to see those things. I want to see Julian out there. I want to see Early out there. I want to see that. I hope Antavius Woody can get a few snaps out there. I want to see how he's looking. I know it's a long answer, but that's kind of how I look at it. Montre says, real talk. 22 isn't old at all. Who said 22 is old? I want to see that hype with all day Dre as well as the spring game. It better not be the same setup. I hope not. They haven't announced the format yet. I'm with you though, Johnny. I hope it is not the buffoonery. Give me spring football. I'm not saying don't have fun with it. Obviously have fun with it. I'm cool with it, but man, I just leave out the buffoonery. We don't need guest coaches. I don't need that. If anything, Mike, if you want to do that, let Tony Tokar's call an offense and let him go against an up-and-comer defensive player defensive coach on the staff that we might not know. Let those two go at it. I'd be more interested in that than watching Danny Cannell and Andrea Adelson, is that her name, call plays against each other. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. Caveman. With the positive attention that FSU has acquired nationally, do you believe that Mike Norvell can come out this season and dominate Clemson and NC State? We don't play NC State, and we don't need to dominate Clemson. We need to beat them. We don't need to dominate. See, Caveman, I know you're a Miami fan, and you snuck that word dominate in there. That's kind of good, but I'm too veteran at this, so I caught that. No, we don't need to dominate anything. We need to win. And specifically Clemson. Now, you've asked me, do we need to dominate Boston College? Well, we dominated Boston College last year. So we expect to do that again. We expect to throw another 45 on Miami's head again. Those are the teams we're dominating. Clemson, we're on a 6 or 7 game skid. I keep forgetting which one. Is it 6 or 7? I think it's 7. It is time to face your demons in Clemson. Exercise the demons. But the domination, if it comes, awesome. You just need to win. They're calling it a spring showcase, so we're going to watch that kickoff drill for 20 minutes. Damn it. I hate that. They just kick the ball off, the guy's catching and just running. It's like, what are we watching? Shout out to Mike, man. Shout out to Mike. Mike got us. Hopefully we don't do those dumb drills in the beginning. That's what Tyler's just talking about. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. I'll be watching the trenches, the safeties, and outside that, I'm just looking for speed and physicality rivaling the teams from the teens. I want to see kickers go at it. I prefer a showcase. Harder to get injured in a showcase. I mean, that's true too. If you want to have a positive look on it. I know we all want to watch football. But also, he's right. You kind of, to be fair, when you start throwing the walk-ons out there and they getting Danny Cannell's calling plays or whoever that was calling plays last year, I tried to forget it. To be fair, you're avoiding key injuries to major players, to be fair, by letting walk-ons get some burn and that thing. What's up, Momo? Let's skip ahead. LSU versus FSU. Position by position. I think FSU is better minus linebacker and kicker. LSU has depth issues from what I heard. I'm definitely taking J transfer. So I did all of that on T2Y's channel. If you want to go check that out. I went over there and we kind of broke down LSU and FSU. And I don't disagree with you. I think they got one of the better players in all college football in Perkins at that linebacker spot. But outside of that, there's a reason, and I mentioned this before. There's a reason why everybody's talking about Florida State in the portal. Nobody's talking about what LSU just did in the transfer portal. Everybody always wants to say, you guys are a portal team. LSU just rehauled their entire D-line and secondary out of the portal with guys like Denver Harris and Chestnut from Syracuse. And then they get a bunch of guys at defensive line. They get like 4 or 5 guys from defensive line out of the portal. But we're the portal team. LSU had a lot of needs they had to address as well. Atkins and Randy versus Tokars and Fuller. I'm with it. Jerry Jones has got a lot of praise this offseason. Shout out to Jerry. I don't know if he can sneak up in that starting spot, but he's definitely gotten a lot of praise this offseason. So shout out to Jerry. What's up, Terrell? LSU was heavy in the portal. Oh, I meant this one. Yeah. Nobody criticizes, and that's why I don't take the portal conversation serious, because nobody criticizes LSU. It's okay for LSU to do it. It's okay. Their quarterback is a transfer quarterback. Nobody mentions it, though. But it's okay. It's okay for LSU to do it. And they'll split a lot of reps between Jerry and Jerry been balling all camp. So that's our rundown today, guys. Y'all know I like to keep these at 1:30. I might go a little over sometimes, but I don't like to do the hangovers that long. But this weekend. I don't know. This weekend probably won't be able to come through this weekend. Maybe Friday night we'll get on here and do something where we do the long version of this and we go for 2 or 3 hours and we just talk that talk. But that's all we're going to do tonight. Thanks everybody who came in here, man. Hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. We talked about recruiting. We talked about quarterback, QB1 for the class of 25. We talked about linebacker that we just picked up. Parrish. Shout out to Parrish. And we talked about Randy Shannon and what exactly is his strategy on the trail. KJ Bolden, major recruitment. Don't know where Florida State lands in that, but it's one of the more important recruitments FSU's been in a while, and that's this KJ recruitment. Very interesting to see where FSU ultimately ends up in this. Then, of course, we dig back into the spring. Guys that are performing well. Adam Fuller not too happy with the safety. Duke looks like a lost child out on the football field. All those good things and so much more. Thanks everybody who came in, man. As always, it is your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles, and we are out here. Go Noles. And I will catch y'all guys. I'm going to try to do Friday. Try to keep my word on that. Give y'all more time on Friday because I see a lot of y'all still want to talk, but I got to keep them short. It's on a Wednesday night. Catch y'all Friday. We do the long version of this. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night.